All right, here we are, installment number 2. As you look at the car, it seems like I've done quite a bit since the first installment, but that's not really true. This whole front piece, including the inner fender wells, pretty much comes off with half a dozen bolts or so. I took them off piece by piece just so I could manage it because I'm sort of a one-man show, but wasn't that big of a deal. But the thing that I find really amazing about this car is that it is the undercarriage of it, anything structural, is almost essentially rust-free. You know, it's pretty amazing the condition of this. Whomever did the undercoating of this car when it came out really spent a lot of time and knew what they were doing. The insides of the fenders, which I have over here, the insides of the fenders look like the car was driven through a lava flow. I mean, it is absolutely over the top. I have done work like this on a couple of Mustangs, and this cowl area is almost always disintegrated, and this looks almost like the day that it rolled off. I pulled the windshield because I knew when I looked at the car to purchase it that this panel had some rust damage. But really that's almost it, and we are talking about the lip here. So I'm going to try to reconstruct this and not replace this entire piece because, you know, I think that's a little more drama than what I want. But really, as far as taking the car off the frame, I do not see any reason why we would have to do that. I was absolutely prepared to do it. I bought the car assuming that that would be the case, but after crawling around underneath of the car, there's quite literally no pinholes. There's no reason to separate the car from the frame unless you're doing a full-blown restoration, which again I was prepared to do, but there's nothing particularly special about this car. This car is not a 442. It doesn't have a 455 in it. It doesn't have the posi rear end. This car was essentially ordered in 1971 with a power top, which I think was standard in this vehicle, but it has an AM radio. It only has a heater. It has rally rims, and judging by the paint, I can tell that they were probably original to this car. But this, you know, no power windows. This car is essentially a base model, so there's really no, you know, overriding reason regarding the VIN numbers and things like that to just absolutely go crazy with a restoration of this car unless you were going to resto-mod it, and I just don't have the budget for that. So we're going to leave it on its frame. We're going to completely disassemble it, of course, disassemble the interior, you know, and the dash, because we're contemplating a color change here, so the dash will have to come out and be re-dyed. But really that's all that we've done so far. I noticed that the doors do not line up very well. I ordered a door bushing kit. We'll see if we can salvage these hinges and use it, but you know, it has the typical interference on it that some of these cars do over time. If this was a Mustang, that would be a big deal. That would mean that your car is clamshelling, but I am confident that the frame is not in fact bent on this car. The dimensions of it are within specs, and there's no rust damage to the frame whatsoever. So that's really where I am right now. Probably the next thing I'm going to do is to pull this interior out and salvage as much as I can. The carpet's not very attractive. It doesn't really match the rest of the car. I've got 3 different tones of green here, as you can see. So we're gonna select one and go with it, or maybe turn it to black. But that way we can paint the outside of the car whatever we want. But after I do that, remove the interior, then we will work on the doors first as far as the bodywork goes, get those remounted and get them to line up perfectly with the rear quarter panel, and we'll see what's next from there. And that's all I got for today.